Rory Kelsch, our next reader. I guess I brought a Sharpie with me. Rory Kelsch is an actor, writer, and storyteller from Ridgewood, New Jersey. She's thrilled to be here and thanks everyone for coming to listen to her story, which is titled, Thank You for Not Coming. Rory Kelsch.
Hello. My father, Tom, died. In September, it will be 3 years. I like saying dead and died, opposed to passed, passed away, or passed on, which sounds more like he farted. I bristle when people say, oh, I'm sorry, did they pass? No, let's be real here. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell the truth. They died. They're dead. They'll never pass again. That was you. And by the way, lay off the cabbage. After the funeral, my mother and I busied ourselves. We wrote thank you notes. It felt good to have something to do. I only looked up once to notice the leaves starting to change color, and I welcomed the sight of them. Dying, but so bright in their surrender, generous to the last, like my father. In my notes, I thanked people who either came to the services or sent any of the following: flowers, cold cuts, mass cards, cash, more cold cuts, memorial donations, candy, muffins, cookies, and still more cold cuts. I ate all the cold cuts. I hadn't really begun to process anything yet. Eventually, I would vomit from grief. I mean, it was a lot of cold cuts. Also, I became a total klutz. I cracked my head on the corner seam of a cabinet while opening a jar. I slipped on the stairs and fell into a pile of laundry. Still, there was a bruise on my ass the size of Jupiter. A few weeks later, after I healed up a bit, I visited my mother and we went for a long walk. We saw Jim and Barbara Johnson getting out of their minivan. We hadn't seen them in years, and I knew they didn't know about my father because they weren't at the funeral, and believe me, they wouldn't have missed it because they were always in church. Barbara was a Eucharistic minister, Jim an usher. Their 3 or 4 kids always behaved impeccably in the first few pews. They were all such good students, musicians and athletes, dutiful, obedient. Meanwhile, my brothers and I, much farther apart in age than the Johnson kids and much less obedient, would move further and further toward the back of the church until we backed out completely, never to return, save weddings and funerals. Barbara noticed us as she shut the car door. Where's Tom? She asked. $1 million question. Here it was, my big moment. He passed away, I said. That's not what I meant, but I couldn't say it. I couldn't tell them he was dead, deceased, no more. I couldn't do my best John Cleese. I felt like such a failure. 20 minutes later, after all the, what happened, COVID? Oh, not COVID, oh, thank God, you're in our prayers. My mother turned away and Barbara took hold of me and said, I'm so sorry, Rory. All things must pass. I thanked her and walked on.